I'm Vanessa James, was born in San Fernando, Trinidad and Tobago, and migrated to the US at a very young age. My parents are from South Trinidad, very passionate about their culture, and it kind of carried along with me throughout all of our journeys as we migrated from Trinidad to the US, to Miami, where I live now, and went to school in Tallahassee, Florida State, and then moved back down when a job opportunity came open in the early 2000s. As a Caribbean woman, vibrancy is who we are. We're colorful, bold, bright, beautiful people. So the Caribbean is definitely a reflection of me, and you can see it in my personality. My very vibrant Trinidadian parents used to always teach me, especially my mother, Mrs. Marilyn, to treat the janitors the same way that you treat the CEO. And so that's one of the things that I've always carried throughout my entire career in terms of just making sure that you treat people with respect and kindness. And I know a lot of people have a lot of shakeups as it relates to work and things like that, but I've kind of been blessed to be able to work with amazing people just based on those those qualities, just making sure that I'm always leaving the room and people are feeling happier than when they walked in. My company, Vanessa James Media, started from a whim. I actually, speaking of voiceover, I was on radio for 12 years, even though clearly, I'm only 28. So for 12 years I was on air, and as I moved back down to Miami, my station was doing really well, and then they had some shakeups in the market, and it flipped in 2010. Right before it flipped, my mentor, Doug Turkel, told me, V, I need a quick spot. Send me an invoice for $150 because I want you to do this ad for Chevy or whoever the brand was at the time. And I did it, and I'm like, oh God, but what is an invoice? And he was like, well, you know how to do invoices, right? I'm like, sure. I'm Trini. We figure it out, okay? That's what we do. So I figured out how to do an invoice, and then he was like, but you don't have an EIN number. Like, how do you pay how do people pay you? And I said, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna get that. So I Googled it, because at that point, Google was, a thing. And I realized that I had to quickly start and form a company. So I actually formed Vanessa's Voice first, because it was my first little baby LLC. And it was a full-service voiceover company. Really, full service meant 5 clients. And that translated into, when my station flipped in 2010, I'm like, okay, I've already started this company, let's build on it. I proudly work with 44 stations around the country, as well as internationally. I actually voiced a station in Tokyo, which is really cool, so I'm excited about that. For Takuya, who's my imaging director. Shout out to Takuya, I didn't think he was gonna get a shout out today. What's not next for Vanessa James Media is the question. I have been blessed to work with amazing brands like I just mentioned, but also to create some really cool signature events. So I do my annual event in Miami for creators every year called VJM Mixology that has grown, it's in its 7th year, has really grown exponentially. And I do a signature Women of Impact dinner every year that really highlights and supports women in our community in South Florida that are thriving in the entrepreneurial space but don't necessarily get the love and the shine. So that's been really cool to do. And for the first time, as a little give back to the Caribbean community, we're doing a fete this year. So it's called Food, Wine, and Fete. I'm helping produce that with my partner, Marcos Rodriguez, and we're gonna just see how that flies and blooms and grows, and I don't know, maybe we'll be fetting all over the world. It would be my dream to be able to do a media mixology Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados. Also, I'm excited about growing my Women of Impact dinner. So we're gonna be doing that very soon too, across the Caribbean and in multiple markets, including New York and Atlanta. And lastly, there's a docu-series I've been working very hard and passionately on. It's called Carnival to the World, and I'm looking forward to bringing that to life very soon. And hey, Netflix, just in case you're watching, pick a girl up.